10 days out from UFC 300. So Kenny doesn't know we're doing this exercise today, or at least he doesn't know precisely what we're doing, but we're going to go through some of the fights at UFC 300, Pineda versus Hill, and he's just going to tell me who he thinks is favored to win that fight. Some of these fights obviously are closer than others, and then coming up later in the program, in about a quarter of an hour, we will devote our attention to the UFC Fight Night coming up at the Apex this weekend. It's been obviously a crazy stretch, back to back to back to back, double-digit back-to-back weekends for the UFC with live events, but UFC 300 is cannonball coming. So, Kenny, we're going to start at the top of the card and ease you in softly. I know sometimes this can be a tricky exercise, but the first fight of the night at UFC 300, as it is scheduled now, in the bantamweight division, Davison Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt. Who's the betting favorite?
I would say Figueiredo is.
Well, thankfully, Circle gets the square, and you started 1-0. Yeah, Figgy's one of the bigger betting favorites on this fight card, top to bottom,
wow.
minus 340. Cody No Love Garbrandt is plus 270. All right, next prelim at lightweight, King Green, formerly Bobby, but his name's actually King Green now. So King Green minus, I just fucked it up. Well,
King
maybe
Green's
it's a pick him. Yeah, Bobby Green's favorite over Jim Miller, Kenny. Did you think that would be the case, or did you think Jim would be favored? Fuck!
Yeah, I probably would have known that anyway. Yeah.
All right, Bobby Green, minus 170, Jim Miller, plus 142. All right, next up in the women's strawweight division, Marina Rodriguez and Jessica Andrade.
Okay, so that's a tough one. I mean, a lot of these are really close matchups. I would be leaning towards Andrade, perhaps just because of the takedown game and stuff, but what do you got?
Marina Rodriguez, minus 122, Jessica Andrade, plus 102.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Next early prelim, all of these live on ESPN in the lightweight division, Renato Moicano versus Jalen Turner. Who's the betting favorite?
Turner is the favorite?
Yeah, he is. Minus 225, Renato Moicano, plus 185. All right, next up at featherweight, Kemflo, Diego Lopez versus Super Sadiq Youssef.
I'm going to say Lopez is the favorite. Lopez.
One of the closest fights on the card, Diego Lopez minus 125, Sadiq Youssef plus 105. All right, next up in the bantamweight division, Kayla Harrison, Holly Holm.
I'd say Kayla is probably the favorite.
Kayla is the second biggest betting favorite on the card, minus 500. Holly Holm is plus 340. 78% of the bets right now are on Kayla Harrison. I mean, can some bettor out there with a fat bankroll like put down a straight wager on Holly Holm and put some respect on her name? Like, right? I mean, Kayla Harrison deserves everything that comes her way. I mean, elite human being, great person, great athlete, right? But isn't that a prohibitive number, minus 500 next to her name in her UFC debut? We don't know how she's going to handle the weight cut. She looks fantastic if Instagram is an indicator, but like, I understand Holly Holm is 40 years of age or something close to it, but no, plus 340. Am I crazy?
Well, it's hard to, discount all of that experience as well. Right. But man, Kayla gets a hold of you, dude. I mean, she's tossing everyone who's probably been on this podcast. She gets a hold of you. You're going for a ride. She's an absolute beast. I'm even a little bit surprised by just the huge disparity in the odds there as well.
All right, next prelim in the men's featherweight division, Aljamain Sterling versus Calvin Kattar.
Ooh. This is interesting. Gosh, I would say Aljo's probably the slight favorite.
Look at this guy. I mean, would you like to be a handicapper in your next leg?
I would be terrible at that, I think.
I guess an odds maker would be the better description. Aljamain Sterling minus 130. You're right. Slightly the betting favorite. Okay. Calvin Kattar comes back at plus 110. And then the feature prelim, light heavyweight division, Alexander Rakic versus Yuri Prochazka.
Ooh. Prochazka favorite?
Yeah, so I had this wrong as well. I had Prochazka minus 150. Prochazka is plus 114. Alexander Rakic is minus 135.
Wow. Interesting.
All right, that brings us to the pay-per-view main card in the middleweight division, Cody Brundage versus Bo Nickel.
I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, Bo's got to be one of the biggest favorites, if not the biggest favorite. Did you already say there was one that was?
Well, Kayla Harrison's minus 500. What do you think Bo Nickel is?
I mean, what? 700? Minus 700?
Oh, I mean, well, they'll just let you keep going. I know it doesn't make for great radio, but just keep going higher. You're saying minus 700?
Minus 800?
Keep going. I mean, you want to go minus 15, 17? minus 2,000? You want to go higher?
No way, dude.
You ever play this game with your kids? Higher, hotter. All right, minus 1,800. I say it's higher than that.
Damn.
Do you have a guess? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Higher. There's a 2,000, dude.
Minus 2,400.
Are those the biggest odds?
No.
What's the biggest odds?
You mean like the biggest betting favorite in UFC history?
Yeah.
It might be. I think it's close to it.
Dude,
I don't know. So a $2,400 bet on Bo Nickel would return $100.
Oh my
Cody
goodness.
Brundage is plus 1,200.
Wow.
So a $100 bet on Cody Brundage would pay you $1,200, but he's got to win the fight for you to cash that ticket. All right. Next up at lightweight, Arman Tsarukyan versus Charles DuBronx Oliveira. Ken Flo.
Oof. I'm going to say Tsarukyan is a slight favorite.
A little more than slight. Minus 250, Charles Oliveira. Whoa. Plus 205. All right. BMF title bout in the lightweight division. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Who's the betting favorite?
I'm going to say Gaethje's probably the betting favorite.
Minus 230. Max Holloway's plus 190. All right. UFC Strawweight Championship. Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan. No huge surprise here, right?
Yeah, Zhang Weili's got to be the favorite here.
10 days out, highest percentage of bets on DraftKings Sportsbook. Zhang Weili, 96% of the handle. Whoa. She is the minus 375 betting favorite. Yan Xiaonan is plus 295. And I'm being told now by our esteemed producer, Cody Merrow, that Bo Nickel was minus 2,500 against Val Woodburn. So minus 2,400. The price is shorter right now on DK Sportsbook. And finally, Ken Flo, all roads will lead us to Alex Pineda versus Jamal Hill. And you know Alex's favor because we have talked about this, right?
Yeah.
But does it not speak to maybe just how good Jamal Hill is that Alex Pineda is only minus 130, just given that Jamal Hill is just, 9-10 months removed from that invasive surgery for the torn Achilles? He's plus 110.
Absolutely. I think that's a sign of respect. And also, I mean, it just makes sense because Jamal does have some serious knockout power, especially in regards to that boxing range. I think he throws the faster, straighter punches. I'm not sure he possesses the same amount of power, but I would not be surprised at all if Jamal Hill is able to pull that off.
Alex Pineda, we've talked about him as a massive MMA superstar. I just hope the Americans will get behind Jamal Hill a little bit. And he has a budding fan base in his own right. But it's hard for me to believe that any athlete right now could be the crowd favorite against Alex Pineda in almost any venue in the world. So We'll see how it goes. Jamal Hill and Alex Pineda, remarkably 10 days out at UFC 300. All right, well, right now, the thrill and excitement of March Mania continues, and DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets with any college basketball bet. We have now arrived at the last four standing, and for our listeners and viewers in North Carolina, for whom DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in your state, we told you last week, NC State, at that point in time, was the biggest remaining underdog long shot to win it all. They were 90-1. Wolfpack still breathing, still alive. They now face Purdue as 9-point underdogs coming up this weekend. And, of course, also on DraftKings this weekend, all of the offerings for UFC Fight Night. Allen versus Curtis 2. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Not now, but right now, use promo code AFPOD. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code AFPOD. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See DKNG.com/bball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.